Now, I've talked about the nation of UK before, but this time I see another chaos, more of riots on the streets, if that's protests on the streets. And the Lord showed me this. I asked him, now what is the purpose of this? I know this has happened before, but this will be a little different in the UK. And a sign, or why this will happen, it should be a sign of unity in Africa. Now, I don't know what the two have in connection. I didn't go deeper to ask the Lord why it is like that. But that's one thing it shows. That's one thing it will show. To the human mind, it's not understandable, but that will be a sign of it. Now,
thousands have been rallying outside of the British Parliament to demand MPs vote for a ceasefire in Gaza. The protesters flooded the streets as the Parliament debated a motion calling for a ceasefire. The British government has been advocating for what they describe as humanitarian pauses.
It's by far the UK's biggest demonstration since the start of the Israeli bombardment of Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of people, many travelling from other parts of the UK, demanding an end to the killing.
I mean, there's too many children dying needlessly, totally needlessly, and it needs to stop.
Protest organisers were under intense pressure to postpone or cancel. The Prime Minister said a demonstration would be disrespectful because it coincided with Armistice Day. The Interior Minister, Home Secretary Suella Braverman, even described the pro-Palestinian rallies as hate marches.
It is not a hate march. As you can see, we are not putting up posters that are showing kind of like anti-Semitism. If there was, we would have been like showing some sort of anti-Semitism, but there's nothing like that here.
The Cenotaph War Memorial was made part of a police exclusion zone for fear that it might be vandalised, and nearly 2,000 extra police were on duty. There was violence, but it was from far-right white English nationalists who clashed with police and threw bottles and other objects at the officers.
2,000 or 3,000 people who came, a respectable turnout for a weekday, and they were shouting Free, free Palestine. They wanted a ceasefire as opposed to just what the British government's policy is, which is for a humanitarian pause. Unfortunately, from the protesters' perspective, though, is that both votes that were being considered by MPs, first of all, a Scottish National Party amendment, which called for an immediate ceasefire, that was defeated in the Commons, and an alternative amendment by the opposition Labour Party, which called for longer humanitarian pauses. That too was defeated by the Commons. So although neither amendment would have tied the hands of the government, it would have been a powerful message to government about the will of Parliament and certainly the will of the protesters out here. Unfortunately for the protesters, neither of them passed. But the protesters say that they will be back. The same group that organised tonight's protest also organised the weekend protest that we saw. A couple of hundred, well, 300,000 or 400,000 people out on the streets of London. So they're promising that while the killing continues and no ceasefire is being enacted, they will be back.